Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming for Tuesday. We don't really have a thing on Tuesdays. Hey, it's Tuesday. Everything important happens on Tuesday. Throwback Tuesday. Kitty Tuesday. Cyber Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
That's it, we do a dance now. So it's no secret that E3 isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, attendance was down this year. Sony completely skipped the event though, and they leaked the personal info of thousands of journalists covering the event.
Hey, ESA, special Inside Gaming you. Not only did you leak the information of a lot of people who work here, one of them had the audacity to be female, and that was just awful for her. Anyway, it took Keanu Reeves, who can save everything, to basically bring E3 back from the dead. What a great moment.
Well, the Entertainment Software Association has some big plans to revamp the whole thing for next year, and get ready for more celebs and influencers.
Oh, that's just the thing everybody wanted! Brian, where's this all coming from?
According to a presentation to ESA members, they're planning to rebrand E3 as a fan, media, and influencer festival for 2020. Just what we all wanted. Get ready to see your favorite celebs suck at video games in public. I can't get that anywhere else.
That sounds way cooler than looking at video games. Anyway, looks like it could be a big departure from the old insular days of E3, where it was mostly game devs and publishers showing off their newest stuff for retailers, back when it was a trade show, when the whole point of the show was to convince Walmart to buy a pallet of your controllers.
Their new plan was to go full-blown spectacle. The Keanu Reeves appearance this year was a viral hit, and now it looks like they want to create as many of those as possible.
God damn it.
Yeah, the folks at GameDaily.biz discovered the pitch deck, which details the ESA's plans to focus more heavily on celebrities and paid influencers to draw eyeballs to the event.
Yeah, and they plan to use those people to stage what they call activations. Yes, the word for paying somebody to jump through hoops. Basically, events that will get people talking. Virality.
One example they used was getting members of the Los Angeles Lakers to play basketball video game on the floor, which they said would generate incredible buzz for the title and E3. That sounds like the most like, okay, we have to have a meeting, everyone brainstorm what you want to do in the bowels of 2K. And they're like, get LeBron to play a basketball game.
Somebody got 6 figures for that idea.
And here we are chugging White Claws and belching, and where's our check? Where's our 6 figures? Anyway, other less specific examples they used was leading actors to compete in video game tournaments. It's just such base level thinking. Whatever, hope you're good at Smash. Ultimate Keanu. He probably is. He probably is really good.
They also included an example of a floor plan with 8 so-called experience hubs. That would be the middle of traditional booths.
This layout looks way more like a theme park than past E3s, which were just a series of booths you would go and like wait in line for. And if you're worried about waiting in line, don't worry, there will be Q-tainment that will, quote, enable marketing to attendees in line.
I want to die. Somebody drop this laptop into a bathtub.
To be fair, and this is the most fair we can get with this is a deck meant for marketers that go to the show. So everything's gonna be bent towards that. Not for us, this isn't for us, but still, we're the recipients of this. We're gonna be the fertile ground upon which all their marketing seeds fall because they want to suck the money out of our wallet.
Yeah, they're also planning to bump up the number of badges for members of the public. The ESA approved an additional 10,000 gamer badges.
Gamer badges! I had to buy one last year because I didn't register in time, but I've never been more proud to wear a gamer badge.
Gamer. Which means that there will be a max of 25,000 members of the public attending next year's event, which if you're anyone like us who's there to do actual work, sounds like hell.
Don't worry, they've got you covered there. The way they're proposing the 3-day event is to have Tuesday for industry, influencers, and media only. And I guess we're one of those 3? Whatever.
I can't wait to cram all appointments into one afternoon.
We're different. We're the cool YouTube dudes, not the bad YouTube dudes.
We don't say swear words on the internet. Just to put the cherry on top, the proposal acknowledges that they can't program all the proposals they get for the main floor, so select second floor suites will be used to host talks and panel discussions that drive engagement and provide E3 gravitas.
God, what a deck.
Sweet gravitas.
What kind of sloppy Me Too gaming event would it be without droves of panels that have more people on the table than in the audience? PAX is here again. We're already queuing up for Polygon's How to Find Something Problematic in Literally Anything panel featuring 18 amateur bloggers. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. I actually love you, Polygon. You guys run some good stuff.
I can feel the gravitas already. So Lawrence, you hungry for more corporate speak?
I can't wait.
Well, put on your bib because here comes the second course. They also cite that research shows that millennials and Gen Z are the most giving back and social good generations ever. One slide says that by amplifying E3's social good brand, we can advance the industry's brand with consumers while storing positive chits for future use.
What? What? I don't think watching LeBron open a loot box is so social good. I don't think going to a panel is a social, I don't think waiting in line is a social good. This is just garbage branding.
I think it's more like LeBron opening a loot box while saying that girls should be allowed to read.
Hot take, LeBron.
Yeah, we need a shower after listening to that. What they're saying is, let's not do good for the sake of doing good. Of course not. Let's do it because our audience will like it, which, hey, it's corporations. Of course, they're only going to do good if they think it nets them a benefit in some way. And they think that us millennials here really like good things. Weird, because our planet's on fire.
I'm Gen X. I can see through the bullshit.
Yeah, Brian's just over there with his like flannel shirt being like, whatever.
Nirvana told me this would all happen.
Now, they go on to say that one tactic they can use is partnering with influencers who are passionate about E3 relevant social good efforts like gender equality and STEM.
They add, imagine an NBA champion, global superstar participating in an E3 Coliseum conversation and or global movie star being part of the E3 digital ticket because it included social good components. Yeah.
I don't think I like this episode of Black Mirror.
Can't wait for a women in games panel with 14 dudes and one girl all the way at the end. Good stuff.
8 ways The Last of Us 2 failed the Bechdel test.
One other thing they talked about in renovating E3 was selling a digital experience, which I have to admit, it actually sounds kind of cool. So the idea is that you get access to a cloud-based portal that has all of the E3 demos in it that you can play through from home. The idea is that that would be timed. So over the course of E3, from the comfort of your own home, you could cloud stream a demo to your PC or whatever and play through it and get that experience as though you're on the show floor without having to wait in line or anything like that. It is really just spreading the marketing tentacles of the show, but that's the one thing so far that sounds like it would actually be beneficial to everybody. It's no big secret why the ESA is doing this. E3 has seen better days for sure.
Yeah, for decades, E3 reigns supreme as the biggest gaming event of the year. It's where all the big gaming studios, publishers, and hardware makers turn out to show audiences, retailers, and journalists their hot new products. But over the last few years, it's lost some big names, leading some to wonder if the conference has failed to change with the times.
Yeah, specifically, what does that mean, Brian?
Well, in recent years, EA and Nintendo have pulled back from the event in favor of doing their own presentations, and then this year was a huge blow. Sony announced it was skipping E3 entirely. Given that they're the biggest console this generation, that's not great. Oh, and Activision wasn't on the floor either this year, so not great. It's kind of like people are leaving for the doors.
I think they're starting to understand that it's not worth the cost. They don't get the return on the investment in the show. Even indies have shown that they don't necessarily need the event to succeed. The road like Dead Cells was a huge hit a few years back, and they did it without any E3 presence at all.
Steve Philby of developer Motion Twin told Engadget that the thing with E3 is that it's really a AAA event. It's not something that makes any kind of sense for an indie developer, even a large indie like us, to be a part of. There's just too much noise.
Meanwhile, there's been tons of drama inside the ESA, which also is probably leading to some of this reorganization. Earlier this year, there was a big report in Variety discussing lots of infighting in the group.
Current and past ESA employees called it a toxic environment, rife with internal politics, witch hunts, and infighting.
Oh boy, that sounds great. They also singled out CEO Mike Gallagher, who left the ESA last year, as being, quote, very difficult to work with. Some said he was manipulative, moody, and sometimes nasty.
Downright nasty.
Somebody describes me that way someday, then I'll know I've made the route. Then I know I'm at the end of the second act of the Hallmark movie, and I just gotta move to a farm in Vermont and learn what a country living is from some girl who wears jeans all day. I don't know where I'm going with that.
The movie.
There's been other reports though, right, Brian?
Yeah, it's also been reported that ESA members have not been happy about the current state of E3, so it's probably also why we're seeing these changes. Some have even wondered whether it should be spun off into a completely separate entity and ESA not be involved in running it at all.
It made more sense for E3 to be under the ESA when it was a trade show, because that's just hard business. Once it becomes a consumer show, and specifically a consumer entertainment show, then yeah, why is it under the ESA? That doesn't add up.
Yeah, meanwhile, the ESA has seemed increasingly out of step with the gaming fan base, with its full-throated support of loot boxes and other shady monetization practices.
Listen, we get it. The ESA is a lobbying arm for the industry, but the only people who like loot boxes are the publishers who make money off them. But still, this is what they do. There's no illusion here. They are a corporate mouthpiece. To that point, even under their policy page, the ESA is in a whole section defending loot boxes, calling them, quote, an optional in-game feature that enhances the player experience.
We love surprise mechanics.
Yeah.
They also praise the industry as having pioneered ways to provide value to customers through innovative monetization methods. That is a hell of a way to qualify your business strategy.
There are more bad signs for E3 as its own show, right, Brian?
Yeah, possible bad sign. I mean, attendance was down this year. Just over 66,000 people attended the event, but that was about 3,000 less than last year. It's not a huge drop off, but it's also not the direction they want E3 to be going, obviously.
Of course, it didn't help that Sony no-showed the event, but regardless, it's coming back to the LA Convention Center next year, so we'll see if they have a chance to rebound.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride so far. Over the years, E3's had its ups and downs when it comes to attendance. In the early part of the 2000s, it was drawing 60,000 plus people to the LA Convention Center every year, even hitting 70,000 in 2005. And then the weird thing happened. In 2007, after some concerns about the event getting too big and too expensive, they decided to change it all, like the second act of a Hallmark movie.
Nasty, the movie. The 2007 show was renamed the E3 Media and Business Summit. It was moved to Santa Monica and downsized dramatically with just 5,000 people invited. It was a disaster.
Yeah,
and
it was awful.
Yeah, the very next year they went back to the LA Convention Center, but still with a smaller audience.
Yeah, people hated that too, and then they tried to return to the big old spectacle format. So over the last few years, attendance has rebounded to just over 50,000 in 2016. Then in 2017, they started selling tickets to the general public, and it rebounded back to the pre-Santa Monica levels with attendance hitting more than 68,000. Last year, attendance stood at 69,000, nice 200, and like we said, it dropped a bit to 66,000 this year.
But even at its peak, E3 pales in comparison to some of the biggest gaming conventions in the world. Industry analyst Daniel Ahmad listed some of the biggest gaming exhibitions and trade shows in recent years, and E3 wasn't even close.
What was the biggest one, Brian?
The biggest one was Gamescom at 373,000 attendees, followed by China Joy at 365,000, and then the Brazil Game Show had 325,000 last year. Following that, the Taipei Game Show at 320,000, and the Paris Games Week drew 316,000. So E3's 66,000 looks pretty tiny in comparison.
The event does draw eyeballs. While previously it was an event for insiders only, the ESA is now trying to change that, and that's pretty clear.
As they put in their presentation, E3 was a B2B retail event, but no longer. Their goal now for E3 is for it to be a fan, media, and influencer festival that will mark both the beginning of the news and announcement cycle for the year and be a convening point for the biggest fans, top video game companies, leading news outlets and analysts, and social media influencers, celebrities, and athletes.
That's everybody.
That's all of them. That's everyone that matters.
Problem for E3 though is the internet.
Yeah, developers and publishers have realized for a while now that they can hold their own events online and get plenty of attention. That wasn't really possible in the old days of the decentralized internet. You still needed a central event to focus everyone's attention, and also you had to fly in writers and stuff to take blurry photos and write page-and-a-half summaries of some demo.
But nowadays, Nintendo regularly grabs headlines with its directs, and Sony has been doing it with PlayStation Experience events. Still though, Microsoft tried to take advantage of that void to get all of the attention on its games. If only it had more exclusives to show off.
In the end, despite its troubles, there are people in the industry who still think E3 is important. Bethesda executive Pete Hines told GamesIndustry.biz earlier this year that E3 is a really important show for the industry that needs to be something all of us support. He added, "We can't have everybody deciding to go off in their own little directions to do this or that. I think folks need to be here. They need to participate. If we have to change the size or scope of that, okay. But I want it to be something that all of us as an industry get together and support, and have it be something that's positive and sustainable." It seems like ESA's main goal is to make E3 into a critical mass of celebrities and influencers that will force the rest of the world to pay attention.
Will it work? I guess we'll see.
The thing that gets me about all of this is that E3 used to be Gamer Christmas. And that was because it was such a concentration of demos and forward-thinking ideas and new announcements and new hardware and all that stuff. If it's just becoming a consumer entertainment event, I feel like that's gonna get pushed into the background. Now it's just a money-making vehicle, and that's gonna be the focus. As long as the people are there for that, I assume it has to be part of the mix. But man, yeah, if it's just influencers and like opening loot chests and trying to get people to play free-to-play games in line so they can get marketed to and have their emails solicited and captured for it just makes it so much muddier than just showing cool games that hopefully people get excited about and run to their GameStop to pre-order, provided they can still find one. I just don't want E3 to just become a weird digital theme park. In a way, it already is.
Yeah, the Epic Games booth was basically just a slice of Disneyland at this last year's E3, where there was more photo opportunities than there were actual like places to play a game, which I still don't understand why people are waiting 3 hours in line to play Fortnite, a game that you can play for free that's been out for years in the comfort of your own home, but I digress.
Do you get a foam finger?
Nope.
You don't get anything? You get a shirt?
You get a picture with inside a hamster ball. So
Yeah, but you can't take an Instagram picture of yourself playing Fortnite in front of thousands of people, so it's way better.
In the Dragon Quest hero. Who's the Dragon Quest hero?
It's all of them, sort of.
Just like we all wanted.
You guys gotta give up on Banjo-Kazooie though. That game wasn't the best.
Don't tell people that.
People love it, Lawrence.
Bruce is a speedrunning champion.
People love it like me. I love it. I play it all every day.
Took him 30 minutes to learn how to shoot an egg, but he did it.
Love it. It runs at 5 FPS. Oh.